people like Spike Lee who tried to leave the Oscars before they could give their acceptance speech because he was so disgruntled. Downright disrespectful from Spike Lee. Come on, you know better than that. I know he's been in the industry forever, and he hadn't won an Oscar before then, but he did win an Oscar. He won Adapted Screenplay for BlacKkKlansman, which is no subtle feat. That's an impressive work. And yeah, it was just a shame to see an industry professional like Spike Lee treat Green Book with such disrespect. I mean, BlacKkKlansman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Mahershala Ali was a producer on this. I'm going to fact check that real quick because I want to make sure I got that right. But it's not like he lost to a movie that was undeserving. If he lost to Bohemian Rhapsody, I would fairly say, yeah, you can be a little upset. You don't have to show it, but you can be upset. Let me just giving that fact check real quick. I do not believe Mahershala Ali has a role in BlacKkKlansman. That's my mistake. But yeah, Jordan Peele was a producer. Jason Blum, directed by Spike Lee, obviously starring John David Washington, Adam Driver, Topher Grace, all that good stuff. Yeah, so I thought it was disrespectful for him to react that way. But, I mean, sometimes it's hard to keep your emotions in check. We saw that with Lady Gaga when Olivia Colman won Best Actress. She mouthed, "Wow." I don't think that was disrespectful. I don't think she expected to win Best Actress. I think everyone going into Sunday's broadcast was expecting Glenn Close to run away with it. I thought that was a done deal. That's one of the ones I put on my ballot. And Olivia Colman really came out of nowhere. I mean, no one really, she didn't even expect. You could tell by her speech she was flustered. She was messing up her words. It was obviously not a problem because it wasn't scripted and she didn't have, a speech written out or even thought that she would have to give one. So I don't think Lady Gaga was being disrespectful. I think she was just shocked with the rest of the crowd that Olivia Colman took it home. Yeah, so as I touched there, Olivia Colman, biggest surprise of the night, in my opinion. Moving over to the flip side, for Best Actor, Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, come on. Like, did we really think it was going to be anyone else? Rami Malek, performance of a lifetime. He's going to get so many roles in the future. Yeah, as Freddie Mercury, I saw a lot of tweets that kind of disappointed me because they said that Rami Malek wins Best Actor for lip-syncing Queen. And that's not what he won Best Actor for. He won Best Actor for embodying Freddie Mercury. He went on stage as the greatest rock star of all time, and it was flawless. He got his movements down. He got every little subtle head twitch and little line delivery. He had to speak with the teeth in, and I don't think that halted his momentum at all in that movie. He was endearing to watch the entire movie. And yeah, people saying that he didn't deserve it for lip-syncing Queen, I don't think they know what they're talking about, because a lot of people have a problem with Bohemian Rhapsody because it's a paint-by-numbers biopic. Just because something follows a structure doesn't mean it's bad. I know the Oscars are about innovation, but a lot of movies that do get nominated, Black Panther is a live-action Lion King. Let's be real. Black Panther is a live-action Lion King. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a phenomenal movie. Bohemian Rhapsody, paint-by-numbers biopic, so what? It was a Queen story told masterfully on the big stage. And just because they got facts wrong, that wasn't their fault. They did that on purpose. Because their job is not to make a documentary. Their job is to make a good movie. And they used real things in Freddie Mercury and Queen's life, rearrange them a bit to tell a better narrative. And they never claimed that this was going to be, a shot-for-shot remake of Freddie Mercury's life. They never claimed that. This movie was in production for over a decade. Originally attached with Sacha Baron Cohen as Freddie Mercury. So the fact that they were able to get a good, smooth script down, I think, is impressive, and I don't think people should fault them for it. All right, Alfonso Cuarón wins Best Director for Roma. This one, I picked Alfonso Cuarón, actually, because I just recognized him from the director list. He's a great director. He's directed great movies in the past, and Roma, I thought, when I was looking at the ballot, it deserved some award recognition, obviously. I knew it was going to get something somewhere. And yeah, because it missed out on Best Picture and stuff like that, Alfonso Cuarón, guy who directed Gravity, who took home a ton of awards back in 2014, guy who directed Children of Men, Pan's Labyrinth, great movies. He deserves to win. Best Director, I want to check real quick to make sure. I'm not sure if that was his first win. I just want to make sure if that was his Best Director win. I know Gravity did win Gravity did not win Best Picture. It was nominated. He did win Best Director for Gravity, so this is his second win. But yeah, I knew Roma was going to take home some award, and it just so happened to be that Best Director was where it fit in. All right, Mahershala Ali wins Best Supporting Actor, for Green Book. Bit is surprising here because Mahershala Ali has quickly become an A-lister in Hollywood. He was the villain on the first season of Luke Cage, which obviously there's no shame in that, but like going from a Netflix show that was canceled after 2 seasons to winning Best Supporting Actor, at the Oscars, it's truly amazing. And yeah, I do believe he did win Best Supporting Actor for Moonlight. So a guy who is 45 but still, just beginning to gain momentum in his career with movies like Moonlight, Hidden Figures, Green Book, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Alita Battle Angel. He was also in The Hunger Games earlier on in his career. Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Predator is that remake. This is phenomenal for him to already have 2 Best Supporting Actors under his belt. Obviously, when you're in the industry, you want to go bigger, so I'm sure he's not going to be satisfied with just 2. He's going to gun for that Best Actor, undisputed eventually. But yeah, big props to Mahershala Ali for winning Best Supporting Actor. Supporting Actress, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk. Did not see If Beale Street Could Talk. Was not too surprised. I heard great things about it. I heard great things about Regina King. And yeah, I was glad to see her win. Looking at the other nominations, she did seem like one of the better choices. I don't know if she was the undisputed best going into it, but yeah, she definitely deserved that Oscar. Original Screenplay, Green Book. I mean, if it's going to win Best Picture, it's got to win either Best Original Screenplay or Best Adapted Screenplay. Even though that's not the case every year, you kind of expect it, that they do go hand in hand. Foreign language film, Roma, big win for Roma, but this was one of 5 I'd say that were shoo-ins for sure, even though Olivia Colman stole it from Glenn Close. Roma was bound to take Best Foreign Language Film, even if it wasn't going to win Best Picture. It was undisputed the best foreign language film, and I mean, it's the only foreign language film nominated for Best Picture, and it's also nominated for foreign language film. Do you even need the other nominations? It's kind of obvious going in. Animated feature, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I got tripped up there because I wanted to say shout out. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, fantastic movie, completely unexpected. I remember back when this was in development, when Sony was going through its panic stage. Oh, everything's going crazy. We just gave Spider-Man to Marvel for a few years because we don't know what we're doing. Oh, you like 21 Jump Street? Well, how about a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover? And they were going nuts. They were just pulling properties out of their ass. Jumanji, they took from out of nowhere. It made like $900 million worldwide. And now, obviously, we're going to get a trilogy because Sony needs to make money. But yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. A lot of people made fun of this movie when it started out. Why are you doing an animated Spider-Man movie when we're in the middle of a Spider-Man trilogy? And then it came out that they're doing Miles Morales, and everyone's like, "Oh, come on! Why is the first time Miles Morales is going to be on the big screen? Why does he have to be animated?" This movie showed that animated movies should be not discriminated against when it comes to live-action movies. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was one of the best movies of the year. Not best animated movies, one of the best movies. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Didn't take itself too seriously, but it didn't lose me in the sense that it's still a really good movie, but doesn't need to take itself too seriously. We see Aunt May have a whole underground layer. We see a great voice cast. Oh my God. Shamik Moore from Dope from 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. was amazing as Miles Morales. Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, some of the best lines in the movie. Where I go, the wind follows, and the wind, it smells like rain. It's so good. John Mulaney as Spider-Ham, genius casting. The voice was perfect, on par. Spider-Gwen, they refer to her as Spider-Woman in this movie, reasonably was a great character. Mahershala Ali, also in this movie, another movie he was attached to that won big at the Oscars. He was the Prowler. Masterful casting. Even Chris Pine, who was Spider-Man from Miles' Earth in just the beginning of the movie, what didn't stick around too long. He was great voice casting as well. This movie was masterfully done. Phil Lord, Chris Miller, they got fired from Han Solo, and look at them now. A year later, winning Best Animated Feature. So I think Lucasfilm made a big mistake firing them, even though Ron Howard's version still was good in the end with Solo, A Star Wars Story. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are genius filmmakers. They're the men behind 21 Jump Street. They're the men that were attached to do the Flash film. We still will remain to see if that movie ever gets made. Not to their fault, to Warner Brothers' fault, obviously. But yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, very well-deserved. One of those shoe-in wins I saw when I was looking to cast my ballot. Sound editing and sound mixing, I want to say. Yes, Bohemian Rhapsody took both of those. No surprise here. I thought any award that included sound in the title belonged to Bohemian Rhapsody. Again, people on Twitter saying Bohemian Rhapsody literally won Best Sound Editing for putting Queen songs in a Queen movie. But they did it in a way that told a great narrative. When he's singing We Are the Champions, when he's singing Bohemian Rhapsody at the end, at the Live 8 concert, basically, without showing us flashback scenes, it's basically a flashpoint moment of his life where you're listening to the lyrics and they parallel everything that went on. He eventually does do We Are the Champions as well. You know, I've paid my dues time after time. I've done my sentence but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. These lyrics paralleled what went on in the movie. And so I think the fact that they put it in the right moment rather than open with like We Are the Champions or use it for the end credits, even though many people will be like, well, that's an obvious choice. Sometimes the obvious choices are the best ones, you know? So Bohemian Rhapsody, I thought well-deserved for sound mixing and sound editing. Original song, Shallow from A Star Is Born, another one of those shoo-ins. This performance, man, oh my God. I was sick of Shallow before this award show began. Everyone was talking about it. I didn't even know the lyrics. I just knew that it went like, da, 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 da. I just knew the tune. I didn't even know the lyrics. But, yeah, oh my God, chills. It was so cool because usually when we see Oscar performances, they're from an artist not featured on camera. And this felt like they were presenting a scene from the movie because Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper get on stage, they sing the song, and so simple, such a simple performance. Bradley Cooper's got a mic, Lady Gaga's got a mic, and she's at the piano. Nothing too flashy, no flashing lights, none of that. But it stole the show. In 2 days on Lady Gaga's Vivo on YouTube, it's already garnered 10 million views. 10 million views after the broadcast. That goes to show that people did not forget and they wanted to see more. Or people were talking about it and they tell their friends, you got to check out this performance. This performance was so good that I immediately rented A Star Is Born from iTunes and watched it the next night. And oh my God, blown away. Did think a bit of recency bias after watching it. I was like, oh my God, that deserved Best Picture. It's kind of settled now. I recognize that it wasn't up to par with a movie like Green Book, but yeah, this song was a shoo-in victory. I mean, what else was going to win? Production design, Black Panther, we talked about that. Original score, Black Panther. Movie I did want to talk about that shocked me and shocked a lot of people, visual effects for First Man. Why? This was Infinity's award to win. And this isn't Oscar bias of saying, oh, come on, just put Black Panther in Best Picture. Come on. I know you want it. Come on, just please do it. Infinity War, regardless of wanting to attract viewers, was going to get nominated for Best Visual Effects. The main character of that movie is completely CGI. Completely CGI. Unprecedented. The only movies that have done that before is the Planet of the Apes movies. And